Hello, nerds! Nerds for Humanity. We are deep into the official 2024 presidential race. So it is time for another data deep dive. Just a couple days ago, ABC News came out with their new poll. And it's kind of bad news for Joe Biden and great news for Donald J. Trump, and interesting implications. We'll find out, I guess, in time, whether or not other Democrats decide to throw their hat in the ring, given some potential weakness on the Biden side. So let's just jump right into it. And if you want to let me know where you're joining from, go ahead and put it in the live chat. I'll try and give you a shout out. All right, so let's take a look at this new ABC News poll, which just came out yesterday. And we'll first start with some highlights in the official, ABC News story. But then I will actually go deeper into the data than you're used to seeing from wherever you get your news normally, probably. But that's why the Nerds for Humanity channel exists, because we go a little bit more into the numbers. But let's start with some of the highlights. So it says here that Joe Biden's approval rating hit a record low, and a broad 68% of Americans say he's too old for another term. Ouch. And he's in a trailing position against top Republicans in early preferences for 2024. Yikes. Not good news for Joe Biden and the Democratic Party if the Democratic Party seeks to renominate him. 44% see Biden's potential opponent Donald Trump as too old, which is interesting. So 68% say Biden is too old, and only 44% say Donald Trump is too old. What a difference 4 years makes. Let's see what else. Trump far surpasses Biden in being seen as having the mental sharpness and physical strength. All right. Wow. I kind of agree that Biden is very old, and I think Trump is also very old. But it's interesting that many people who see Biden as too old think that Trump is spry and youthful, or at least more spry and more youthful. Let's see. Americans by 54 to 36 say Trump did a better job handling the economy. Wow, which is interesting because I think the U.S. just hit a 50-year low unemployment rate. So I'm guessing Biden's, understandably getting a lot of heat for the inflation. Whether or not you can put that entirely at Biden's feet or due to supply chain and Middle East oil supply and a war in Ukraine. Either way, looks like Americans are giving Trump a lot more credit than they are to Biden on that category. Both Trump and DeSantis lead Biden in preference for 2024. Let's see. Biden's approval rating is just 36%. Oh my God, bro. That's terrible. Jesus. That's down 6 percentage points from Feb, and a point off his all-time low in early 22. 56% disagree of his performance. My God. Like, he should really consider not running again. But, that's it's a free country. Biden's approval rating is numerically the lowest on record. Oh, my God. Similar to Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, and Trump. Wow, it's almost as low as Trump's approval rating. Oh, no, it's lower than Trump's approval rating. So Biden is a 36% approval, and Trump was 39% in April of 2019. Trump has his own challenges. 56% say he should face criminal charges of whether he tried to illegally overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. 54% say he should face charges for his mishandling of classified documents, and only 40% say he should not be charged. Roles leading to the storming of the U.S. Capitol in 2021. Let's see. As regards to the falsifying business records in New York, 49% say he should be accountable, but 44% say that one is not. So most people are evenly split on the business record stuff. A little bit more support for holding him accountable for 2020 overturning of election attempts and mishandling of classified documents and leading, kind of efforts to lead that led to the storming of the Capitol. Still, that's just 54%. So, about half of the country doesn't think he should be held accountable at all. 90% of Democrats think charges are appropriate. 82% of Republicans say they are inappropriate. And independents, 47% say they're appropriate. 40% say inappropriate. Biden scores 8% better on being honest and trustworthy than Donald J. Trump, but neither is well rated. Biden is seen as honest and trustworthy by 41%. 33% of Americans believe that Donald Trump is honest and trustworthy. That's pretty sad. This is a battle of two candidates that half the country clearly does not think is that credible. And in the case of Trump, 67% of the whole country thinks he's not honest nor trustworthy. And 59% of the country doesn't feel that Biden is honest nor trustworthy. Okay, Trump outperforms his in-party rivals. 43% of Republicans say they'd like to see the party nominate Trump. Double the preference for DeSantis, which is 25%. DeSantis comes closest to Trump, 27 versus 36% among moderates, but there aren't many of them anymore in the Republican Party. Conservatives, who account for 2/3 of Republicans and Republican leaders, favor Trump 55 to 27. Who would you like to see as a Republican Party nominee? You see Trump 43 to DeSantis 20. And then when they're given listed options, Trump 51 to DeSantis 25, with Haley and Pence and Scott after at 6% and 4%. Substantial majorities of Republicans and Republican-leaning independents say they would be satisfied with either Trump or DeSantis as their party's nominee. Wow. Majority of Republicans would be satisfied with either Trump or DeSantis. So the Republicans are pretty ready to go with this guy. Daniel says, strange, I didn't get a notification. Yeah, I think it's because I scheduled this stream an hour or two ahead. I suspect I have to schedule them much further in advance. Or maybe it's because at the last minute I changed the time from 3 to 3:30. I don't know. Yes. Oh, well, glad, Jeremy, that you got one. And then John Perrin says he didn't either. Yeah, I think it's my fault. Or you could say, wait, why doesn't YouTube allow notifications if the stream's very soon? Maybe they're trying to protect against people spamming the system. But you would think, oh, by the way, thank you, subscribers and viewers. This channel recently hit our 2 millionth lifetime view. So that's a lot of charts. So who would have thought that we'd still be doing this. We started this channel in March of 2019. We were one of the first YouTube channels in the Yang Gang. I'm pretty sure I'm not sure what other channels on YouTube are still actively, from the original kind of Yang Gang, are still actively publishing stuff, but we're still here. Okay. Compare Trump's position to Biden's party. 36% of Democrats would like to see Biden for president. So look at that. 75% of Republicans would be satisfied with Trump as their nominee, but only 36% of independents. And yeah, freaking A. Wow. Only 36% of Democrats and Democrat-leaning independents would like to see their party nominate Biden. 58% would prefer someone other than Biden. Biden-Trump matchup, 44% say they definitely or probably vote for Trump. Ew. 38% for Biden and 12% undecided. My God. My God. So you'd need, let's see. What if it nine of those 12 went to Biden? He'd be at 47. Yeah, and then Trump would be at 47. So it'd be basically a coin toss. So Biden at this point needs to get 2 out of the 3 undecided to flip his way. And they're not right now. They're leaning Trump. Jesus. Can you guys believe that we are, at this time, more likely to see the second administration of President Donald J. Trump back in your Twitter feed, back on the news every day, back in the White House with, who knows, another 6 chief of staffs and 3 or 4, attorneys general, and just that revolving door, and then, Ivanka and Jared. Oh, is this what we're looking at, guys? This is crazy. This is crazy. A Biden-DeSantis matchup is essentially the same. Whoo! DeSantis beats Biden 42 to 37. Yikes. And the undecideds lean DeSantis. Jesus. You ask yourself, let me know in the chat and in the comments if you think that this means some other Democrats may want to jump into the primary, given how weak. I mean, this is one poll. I still remember the one poll that had Yang surging in the primary, so we don't want to read into it. But this one's not looking good for Uncle Joe. Want to see more saying, hey, can you show more RFK versus Biden? I'll see if in the deep dive they ask. And by the way, if any of you are RFK fans, he's not my preference, as you may imagine, but, this is Nerds for Humanity, so we talk to everyone. If you want to, if you know anyone that's volunteering for RFK or is connected to the campaign, or if you want to hit up their campaign team on social media, let them know. I'm happy to interview them. I've reached out to them, but, I found that when our viewers reach out to someone, kind of encouraging them to come on, we have a higher hit rate. Daniel B says, Biden is a bit of a cringe, so let's be honest, and that's being kind. Yeah, he's not the most impressive candidate. Is he more cringy than Donald J. Trump unhinged without having to worry about re-election? To me, I would still pick Biden over Trump. Not a fantastic. I wouldn't feel thrilled about it, but I would definitely not pull the lever for Trump. Ooh. And then who would Trump's nominee likely be? Maybe like a Carrie Lake or someone? Oh. That makes me cringe. Jeremy says, 1988. And by the way, thanks for all these members showing up here. You see their little member icon there. 1988 and 2004, the only election a Republican has won the popular vote in my lifetime. Yeah, yeah. The Republicans have, and I feel like today the Republican Party is less representative of the majority of the country than before. I feel like that whole ultra MAGA wing of the Republican Party is basically like taking it over. Okay, so listen to this. Among those who say Trump should face criminal charges, 18% are inclined to vote for him over Biden anyway. Woo! So even if you think Trump is a criminal and should face charges, and that he tried to overturn the 2020 election results, which, you know, is pretty seditious, 18% of those people are like, yeah, I'd still pick him over Biden. Yikes. That's intense. At the same time, among people who say Biden is too old for the job, 36% are inclined to support him anyway, while 54% in group favor Trump. One reason is that among people who say Biden is too old, 62% also say Trump is too old. Let's see, on the oldness thing. How many people think Biden, this candidate is too old for another term? 68% say Biden is too old. 44% say Trump is too old. 32% say Biden has mental sharpness. 54% say Trump has the mental sharpness. This is like a war of, turtles, or, really tallest little person kind of competition here. Is in good enough physical health to serve. 33% say Biden. 64% says Trump. That's not encouraging. Among adults aged 65 and older, 62% see Biden as too old, versus 40% say the same thing about Trump. Okay. Let's see. Biden job approval has been pretty flat-ish, trending down, high 30s, low 40s. His disapproval, pretty flat, little bump up, basically a little over 50%. So that is that's the official ABC News story. Ooh, look how beautiful these aquariums are looking. God, which do you prefer? We have the freshwater planted tank here. And then we have the saltwater reef tank here. Let me know if you guys have a preference. Let's see. Jeremy says, Biden falling up the stairs up to AF1 and falling on the bike have lost the American confidence. Yeah, Biden does not look good. Oh, Jay Parent says you prefer the freshwater. You know, you're right. The freshwater is nice, but I will tell you, the saltwater, if I turned on my blue lights, maybe I'll do that at the very end of the show if you guys want me to. The corals are looking just incredible. The colors. You don't see it now because I have the lights on this kind of live stream optimization. Okay, so we're about to now go into a lot more of the detail to kind of really unpack the specifics, like the crosstabs. Oh, yeah. Oh, it just got real. So you know you're in the nerd zone now. But before we do that, I do want to give a shout out to our members. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not a member, click that join button and I'll be giving you a shout out in my next show. But we will now give a shout out to our current members, and we're going to start with the highest level, which is Soldier One, a senior vice president. Thank you, Soldier One. Then we've got VPs. And by the way, super chats are appreciated as well. Keep this channel running. But VPs are Kristen Slevin and Bike Bike. Kristen Slevin's been supporting this channel for 40 months. Good for you, Kristen. Thank you. At the hardcore level, Gene, David, DK, Jekalego, Kirsch, Mr. History, Mona, Vaughn, Yang, Robert, Dean, Galessa, J. Perrin, AH, Dana, Jason, Daniel, and Mickey. I think some of you guys are in the chat right now. And then verified, the entry level, $1.99 a month, cancel anytime, support more charts and data. Lisa, Albert, Brandon, Sophia, Doris, Emerald, Ben, James, Ira, Elizabeth, Shoni, Dr. A, Jameson, William, Karen, Emery, Mai, Brittany, Wana, Kevin, Nell, T, Jeremy, David, Nicholas. Lost my place. Mike, Aurora, Zig, N. Carter, Roberto, and Caleb. And let's give a shout out to the people who are overall our oldest and youngest nerds. So oldest nerds are Lisa, Jean, Kristen, Albert, Brandon, David, Sophia, and DK. All are over 3 years old. Youngest nerds are Caleb, Roberto, N. Carter, Zig PC, Aurora, Mickey, Mike, and David, all 8 months and under. And let's give some shout outs to some of the nerds in the chat right now. We got Jay Perrin, Jeremy Sammons, Want to See More. Yeah, I think those are the current nerds in the live stream right now. You guys ready to get into the numbers? Let's do it. Let's get nerdy. You're right. You're right. Oh, Want to See More thinks the saltwater looks good. Yes, if you want to see, at the end, if you guys want to see the saltwater like up close and personal with the ultraviolet light and the colors just pop, you let me know in the chat. Okay, let's get nerdy though. Here we go. Share tab. So this is a poll of 1,000 adults. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the main questions here, right, by row. But then what we're going to do is we're going to look across the columns and see if there was any difference between males versus females, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, liberals, moderate, conservative, young people, older people, less educated, more educated, white, non-white, Hispanic, religious, not religious, Jesus, region, urban, suburban, rural. Holy mackerel. Now, we're not going to have time to do all of the questions, but we'll do some highlights, okay? So let's get this on. Okay. So, do you approve or disapprove of Joe Biden's? Now, we know that overall he was sucking, and he had only a 36% approval rating overall. Might be hard for you to see, so I'm going to try and increase the zoomage. Okay, so overall he had 36% approval. Does it matter? Was there any like difference between different groups for the people who approve or disapprove of Joe Biden? Oh, by the way, if you're enjoying this stream, can you do me a solid? If you haven't already become a member and it's not right for you, the next thing you can do is you can like this stream, hit the like button, then you can share, and then you can add stuff in the comments. And if you want to be amazing, you can do all of that. Okay. So 36% overall, male versus female. This is interesting. The margin of error is plus minus 3.5 percentage points. So females approve of Joe Biden more than males. Obviously, not a surprise here. Democrats approve of him more than Republicans and independents. Independents approve of him more than Republicans. Ideology, he gets most approval from liberals and then moderates and then lastly conservatives. Similar with party ideology. What about age? He has more approval rating. Okay, basically, the older you are, the more likely you are to approve of Joe Biden. And then in terms of education, if you have a postgraduate degree, you have the highest approval of Joe Biden. If you have high school or less, you have the lowest approval of Joe Biden. And then in terms of race, if you're not white, you have more approval than him than if you are white. And then across the combo of race and education, the highest approval would be white college grads. White college graduate women have the highest approval, and the lowest approval would be 23. White non-college graduate men have the lowest. And then race and religion, lowest with the white evangelicals, highest with no religion at all. Region, best approval in the Northeast, lowest in the South. Urban, suburban, rural, highest urban, lowest rural. Okay. Woo! That was a lot of data. Now, let's skip through to see another question is around handling of the economy. Who did a better job when Trump was president or when Joe Biden has been president? 54 to 36 say Trump overall does a better job of the economy. Trump does even better than 54%, 60% with males. And Trump does great with Republicans, 93%. And he does great around ideology with conservatives. And he does great in terms of age. Oh, you know, Trump's support is pretty even. That's interesting. You would think Trump would do best with folks closer to his own age, but there's a lot of younger people who like Trump just as much as 40 to 64-year-olds. Actually, Trump does worse with the older people. Isn't that interesting? Even as an elderly gentleman himself, he does better with young people than older people. In terms of education, he does the best with people who have not finished high school or only finished high school. And he does worse with people who have a postgraduate education. And then in race, 57% approval, think he did a better job as president for economy of white people. 55% of Hispanics, okay? So this is where you see the Democrats, they need to take note that they can't just rely on the non-white vote. Hispanics feel that Trump did a better job on the economy than Joe Biden has done. And then what group in terms of race, sex, and education think Trump did the best? It would be white non-college graduate men. 68% think he did the best job on the economy. Religion, it would be white evangelical Protestants. Region, the South is his stronghold. Although, you know, he does pretty good in the Northeast, Midwest, and West. It's not like he's 80% in the South and 40% everywhere else. He's crushing it with the rural voters, 69%. 69. Okay, now let's see another question. What do people think of the debt crisis? Congress typically passes legislation to allow the government to pay its debts. Without this, the government could default. Do you think Congress should allow the government to pay only if Biden agrees to cut future spending? Issue debt payments and federal spending should be handled separately or no opinion. So this one's interesting. I'm glad to see this. Seems like the poll respondents are pretty reasonable here. 58% think that, hey, issuing debt payment for stuff that you've already committed to and future budgets, those are two separate things. 58% say that. Now, who is in favor of only allowing the government to pay debts if Biden also agrees to cutting future spending? So they're basically saying, hey, I'd rather the government default and not honor the full faith and credit of the United States of America in the global financial system. Who are these people who want to do that? Looks like 30% of males, only 23% of females. So more males are in favor of defaulting. It's not that they're in favor of defaulting, but they are willing to default if Biden doesn't agree to cut future spending. Mostly Republicans, 40% of Republicans are willing to risk defaulting as a means of forcing Biden to agree to the, 2024 budget. Wow. Okay. That's pretty scary that 40% of Republicans are willing to roll the dice on the basic global financial confidence in the United States' ability to pay its debts. But that's what the numbers say. 40% of conservatives agree with this. Only 11% of liberals and only 24% of moderates would support defaulting. Let's see, age. Very few people in all age groups would be in favor of defaulting. A little bit more in the 40 to 64, but 22% of young and 26% of 65 and older are supportive. So this is one of those where most people are not saying we should default, but 40% of Republicans. Yeah, 40% of Republicans. The Republicans are so out of step with most of the country based on this question. In terms of education, this is interesting. I'm surprised that 32% of postgrads, that's the highest group, the most educated people, 32% of that group think that the government should only pay its debts if Biden agrees to cut future spending. Race, 20 more whites than other races, but still only 29% of whites. And then across race and sex and education, the biggest group that's pro-default looks like white college men. Wow. I would have thought it was white non-college men, 33. So there you go. And then race looks like white evangelical Protestants, 34%, about 1 in 3 are in favor of defaulting if Biden doesn't agree to cut future spending. And then regionally, only a quarter-ish in every region are in favor of defaulting. And even rural doesn't want to default. So TLDR on this one is 40% of Republicans are in favor of this kind of brinksmanship. I agree, Jay Perrin. Like, the Republican Party used to be the party of fiscal conservatives. And they might argue, yes, we are being conservative. That's why we want to default on our debt. It's like, well, the debt is sort of paying off things that you have already committed to. If you really want to, cut spending, then you should propose a budget for next year and include what cuts you're willing to make. You can't just say, I want X dollars in cuts in general. Like, you gotta pick the programs. And it's likely if you want to make major cuts, it's got to come from entitlements like Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid, or it's got to come from defense. And so those typically, like, you don't hear Trump talk. I think Trump has said he would not consider any changes to Medicare or defense spending. So then what would he cut? If you guys want to see a future Nerds for Humanity episode on the federal budget, I'd be happy to whip out the pie chart and just look at where we currently spend money, and then maybe look at the Biden proposal, whatever details are available, and compare it to the House Republican proposal, whatever details are available. So let me know in the comments if you want to see that. Let's see. If the debt limit is not raised, who would you blame? Ooh, if the debt limit is not raised and the government defaults, who would you blame? Most people would blame Republicans, but a third would blame Biden. And then 16% would be both equally. Donald Trump was charged in New York with 34 counts of falsifying business records. Do you think this was appropriate or not? 49% say it was appropriate. 44% say it was inappropriate. Do you think Trump should face criminal charges for his handling of classified documents in Mar-a-Lago? 54% say he should. 38% say he shouldn't. Do you think Trump should face criminal charges for his role in the storming of the Capitol? 54% yes, 41% say no. Do you think he should face criminal charges for... Okay, if the candidates for president were Trump and Joe Biden, 44% would definitely prefer Trump, and 38% would definitely prefer Biden. And in terms of demographic groups, the definitely Trump, 48% of males, 88% of Republicans, 82% of lean Republicans, 80% of conservatives. Yeah, what about age? Wow, Trump's core is really the 40 to 64-year-olds. He does worse with the 65 and older. And then the definitelys, he's crushing it with high school or less education. And he's doing worse with postgraduate education. He does best with whites. 51% of whites would definitely prefer Trump over Biden. And in terms of combo of race, sex, education, he does best with 60% of white, non-college educated men. And he does worse with white college graduate women. He does best with, 70% of white evangelical Protestants. So strong religious support for Donald Trump, which is so interesting because, given his personal life, you wouldn't think that he's very Protestant evangelical, but they definitely, 70% would definitely prefer him over Joe Biden, who's probably more religious than Donald Trump in his personal behavior. But maybe it all comes down to the abortion stuff, which Trump has said he's against. We don't know what his personal behavior has been on abortions. Trump strong in the South and rural. And then in terms of the definitely prefer Biden over Trump, you've got only 38% versus 44% for Trump, 38% for Biden. Where's Biden strongest? Females over males, Dems over Republicans and independents. He's strongest with liberals. And in terms of age, he's strongest with 65 and older. Wow. So Trump gets 39% of 65 and older, and Joe Biden gets 50% of 65 and older. In terms of education, Biden really strong with postgraduate education. And but he sucks. Biden sucks with people that have high school education or less, only 30%. So that's basically the inverse of Trump. Race, Biden, 45 Hispanic, 45 net non-white, 34 white, whereas Trump is 51 white, 33 non-white, 36 Hispanic. And then race, sex, education for Biden, he does strongest with white college grad women. For race and religion, Biden does strongest with no religion. And region, he does the best in the West, whereas Trump does the best in the South. And urban, suburban, rural, Biden does best urban, second suburban, worst rural. And Trump is pretty much the opposite. Trump does best rural, then suburban, then urban. Okay, any other questions we should hit? DeSantis versus Trump. Sorry, DeSantis versus Biden. 42% say DeSantis over 37% Biden. So it's not just Trump that currently can beat Biden. It's also DeSantis. Which, if you're a Republican, you may wonder, like, well, maybe we should go for DeSantis because he can beat Biden and he's not Trump. You know, so you wouldn't have as much drama. Maybe you would have a lot of drama given DeSantis' thing with like Disney and corporations and stuff. Do you think Biden is honest and trustworthy? 41% say yes. Do you think Biden has the mental sharpness? Only 32%. Only 33% say he's the physical health. Only 33% think Trump is honest and trustworthy. Who thinks Trump is honest and trustworthy? Looks like more males trust him than females. Republicans, 3 out of 4 Republicans think he's trustworthy, which tells you 1 out of 4 of his own party do not trust him. 64% of conservatives trust him. You know, almost a third do not. Of conservatives. 1 out of 5 conservative Republicans do not trust him. And wow, all age groups do not trust him. Only a third or less of every age group trusts Trump. And then in terms of education, 22% of postgrads trust him, but 37% of high school or less do trust him. 38% of whites trust him. 23% of Hispanics trust him. He does have almost half of the trust if they are white and non-college graduate men. 45% trust. White non-college graduate women trust him too. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. And then white college grad women definitely do not trust him, nor do white college grad men. Evangelicals trust him. 56%. Almost half of evangelicals trust him. Regional South is the biggest trust, 40%. I mean, what's interesting here is that there isn't one group that a majority of that group trusts Trump. I don't see anything over 50% that trust. 56% of white evangelical Protestants. Other than that, he's under half of the country that consider him trustworthy. Now, let's be fair and do the same thing with 80% of conservative Republicans. Okay. So he does well with conservative Republicans, white evangelicals, leaned Republicans, and Republicans. Okay, so if you take out the party ideology, most people don't trust him. Now, let's see what they think of Joe Biden on trustworthiness. Joe Biden trustworthy is 41%. Does he do above 50% for any group other than Democrats or, lean Democrats? So obviously he has 86% of Democrats that trust him, but he does not have over 50% of male or female. He does have over 50% of Democrats and lean Democrats, but and liberals. Excuse me. Age group. Biden Biden has 55% of over 65 that trust him, whereas Trump, for every age group, only has at most 35% that trust him. So Biden does well with the older 65, whereas Trump does very badly with all ages. Oh, Biden does get over 50% of college grads and post-grad, whereas Trump does not get over 50% for any education level. Even the high school or less, where he usually is strong, he only has 37%. So I think Biden's kind of winning on the trustworthy thing, but Biden doesn't get any over 50% for any race, close to it with the Hispanics, 48%. White college grad women. Yeah, he's 51% of Northeasterners trust him, 45% of West, 49% of urban. So, I guess the silver lining with Biden is he's definitely considered more trustworthy, but definitely not mentally or physically sharp. Trump, the silver lining is nobody trusts him. Very few people trust him, but they prefer him over Biden for president. So, and they think, that he's pretty sharp mentally and physically. So that's, good on him. Okay. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Last thing. Oh, thank you. Want to see more? Yeah, I agree. 1839 is a wide age group. Now, last thing. Yes, think beyond. I would agree. It is a little odd that so many Protestant evangelicals support Trump over Biden, who's a practicing Catholic. But I think the abortion thing and the support for Israel thing, the evangelical argument is, look, don't judge Trump on his own personal behavior. Judge him on the policies that he's advocated for and if they align with the Protestant, evangelicals. Okay, last thing I want to show is who is doing well in the ofthepeople.us open primary that's powered by approval voting. And then we'll do the saltwater tank under the ultraviolet lights where they will practically glow in the dark. So if you haven't already, go to ofthepeople.us and right now go there in another tab, of course, and approval vote whoever you want, because I'm going to highlight who are the top candidates right now based on approval voting. And it's an open primary, so you can vote for people in both parties. But trending for POTUS 2024 are Bernie Sanders, Marianne Williamson, Andrew Yang, Katie Porter, Michael Dean, Michelle Obama, Nina Turner, AOC, Chris Sununu, and RFK Jr. Now, some of you are like, hey, I think RFK Jr. is amazing. You can just click on his thing and click the green button and approve him. And if you're like, hey, I don't know much about him, OTP of the People has a candidate profile page, has a video where he talks about what he's for.
What we need in the United States is not division. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not violence.
So that's pretty cool. See a shot of his old video of his dad. You can see his Twitter feed, his official campaign website. You can post a question, and then you can see his recent tweets, and then you can see other candidates. So OTP, check it out. But right now, if we go back and we say, who are the trending POTUS, who are the ones getting the most POTUS votes, approval votes? And you can give as many approval votes to as many candidates as you like. We are going to add a new feature. We're thinking about adding another feature soon, which would let you boost the candidate to kind of measure your enthusiasm. But you've got Bernie, surprisingly, as the top trending candidate, then Marianne Williamson, then Andrew Yang, and then Katie Porter. So those are the top four. And then you got this interesting non-traditional kind of long shot candidate, Michael Dean, but people are checking him out as well. And you can learn more about Michael. You've got a video here, his description of himself. I actually asked him about his take on the Ukraine war. You can see what he's been tweeting about in the last couple of hours. So lots of candidates on OTP. It's designed, it's kind of like Yelp for political candidates. Just try and help you see who's who and also see who's most popular based on approval voting versus closed primary, kind of first past the post voting. All right. You guys, now I'm going to do the saltwater fish close-ups. So we are done with the Nerds for Humanity data deep dive. If there are any other politics questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to now change the lighting on this bad boy to include blue and ultraviolet light. And what it's going to do, it's going to pick up these rich colors in the coral that are pretty amazing. So just consider, and I'll give some kind of Nerds for Humanity closing music while we do this, just to kind of chill together. All right. You hear that? All right. Now we're going to go to, call it this one. Yep. And you're going to see that light change. Now it turns very blue, but not to worry. I'm going to put an orange filter on the camera so you can see in all of its color splendor. I'm going to turn orange for a second. Okay, here we go. Let's see how this looks. All right. That still kind of looks orange, blue. Maybe like that. Yeah, that's a little better. Is that better? Let's see. That's with the filter. That's without the filter, yeah. All right. I'm going to reduce the brightness on the camera, on the lighting. We're going to go here. We're going to go select. Maybe that one. Okay, that's better. How do you like these apples? Look at that, man. Beautiful. Okay. So, by the way, how cool is that? Okay. So you got a bunch of corals down here that this emerald crab, they used to be spread out, but the emerald crab, who you can see hiding in the distance right there. Yes, there's some Nemos in here as well. Thank you for calling that out, Jay Perrin. They're very happy. And then, yeah, so the emerald crab collected all my coral frags in this corner, and I think he likes to eat the algae off of them. And then if you look closely here, these are called pulsing xenia, and you can see them like pulsing because they're going to grab food from the water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the current so you can see the pulsing even more clearly. See if you can, if you look closely, you will see them opening and closing their petals. Oh my God, they're not doing it at all right now. What? Come on, guys. Let me turn off some more current. Come on. I'm gonna go turn off, go to feed mode. There. Okay, they're definitely not pulsing right now. Normally they would. Yeah, stage fright. Okay, but then back here you see a shrimp. You see the white whiskers on a shrimp behind this like broccoli looking coral? See if I can show you the shrimp. It's called a blood shrimp. You see that? He's beautiful. And then you have that blue right there is actually a giant clam. It's a beautiful blue mantle. Daisy, your tail's making a lot of noise for the live stream. Please try and be silent. These are other coral, like they look like beautiful flowers almost, right? And they've grown a lot. This pink one here is a anemone. It's actually a animal, and the center is its mouth, and it has a stomach. And then, oh, Vaughn, if you came in late, you might be wondering, like, what the hell is he doing? This is the end of the stream. I talked about politics earlier. These are torch coral. And then there's the fire shrimp again. And let me know if you guys want me to feed them in the comments. I can put some food in and you can see the Nemos eat. Only if you want to. I don't want to force it on you. Ooh, look at that. If I zoom out, you can see. And then the overhead view is quite nice too. Let me show you the overhead view, because you can get a real sense of the beauty of some of these corals. Hold on. That's the clam. There's the shrimp. Thinking I'm gonna put food in. I'll put food in if one of you guys gives me a like, and then just tell me in the comment that I've liked the stream. Please feed the Nemos. I'm holding these Nemos hostage for likes. Cruel. All right, Henry says feed, but Henry, have you liked the stream? Because if you don't like, we can't feed them. I'll even show you. I'll get ready if you guys want. I have some delicious reef flakes that are made of plankton, dried fish protein, salmon, fish meal, brine shrimp. They love it. So, okay, nobody in the chat has said that they have liked the stream. So I'm sorry, Nemos. Looks like the Nerds for Humanity audience. Oh, Jeremy says. Okay. Fair enough. I'll assume that somebody still watching has liked it. All right. J Perrin is confirmed. Thank you, J Perrin. Here we go. All right, let's see if they'll eat. The flakes are in. Oh, Vaughn says he did like it. Oh, Think Beyond is like, hey, what is this? Well, Think Beyond, we've been doing the nerd data for the first 55 minutes. So this is sort of like the end of show bonus content. It has oh wow, look at the fire shrimp. He wants to get in on that food. Oh wow, he's climbed up to the top to try and access the food from the surface. Ooh, you go, boy. Go get it. All right. So, hope you guys enjoyed this little unplanned post-data palette cleanser powered by my Nano Reef Aquarium with lots of wildlife, livestock, and corals, just beautiful corals. And you can see here, there's even a little hermit crab, blue-legged hermit crab. He wants to get in on this action as well. Yes, Jay Perrin. Thank you. I appreciate you. We went from the data deep dive to the saltwater Reef Aquarium deep dive. Oh, Think Beyond is also fellow. Well, if you like freshwater, I got that too. That's a planted freshwater aquarium. Frankly, I got another one over here, which is Ranchus and a beta. So, little did you guys know that Nerds for Humanity is filmed in a fish room. Now you know. All right. Thanks, everybody. Don't forget, you know what I'm going to ask you to do. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let me know in the comments if you want me to do that budget special where we'll just break down where does the money go and where is Biden proposing that we spend money in the future, and where have the Republicans proposed making cuts. That's the thing. I don't think they've actually proposed making cuts to specific programs. They've just said it's not going to be Medicare, it's not going to be defense, but it needs to be trillions of dollars. So it's like, okay, well, where does that come from? Vaughn says, no news on RFK. I've asked RFK to come on the show. I haven't heard anything from his team. I've tweeted at their campaign team Twitter thing. You know, but if he wants to come on, just tell him to contact me, or if you want to reach out to his team, and I can keep trying as well, of course. But I will say RFK is pretty low in approval voting on OTP, which I have found to be like there's 1,000 voters on OTP, so there's some statistical significance here. So if you look at Democratic POTUS candidates and you sort by all time, Marianne Williamson, Pete Buttigieg, and Bernie are the most approved Democrats, followed by Joe Biden at 4, Nina, Klobuchar. Am I sharing? Yes. Okay, good. Klobuchar, Porter, AOC, Whitmer, Obama, Michelle Obama, Kamala, Hillary, Joe Manchin, then RFK. So RFK is not super approved relative to other Democrats, at least on OTP. We'll see how he does, you know, in maybe upcoming polls for the Democratic primary. All right. Think Beyond says they've already said the quiet part out loud cuts to entitlements, but then they say not Medicare. So what's left? And they also said not Social Security. So we can get into the details. So Jay Parent says he would like to see the budget. Vaughn would like to see where the money goes. Okay, so maybe the next Nerds for Humanity live stream will go budget deep dive. And you can feel free, if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button so you can make sure you don't miss that content. And smash the bell if you want to be notified when we go live. Otherwise, you can also check me out wherever you listen to podcasts. Goodbye, nerds. Peace out.